This kind of observation is a common, automatic form of social comparison. Here, we're seeing a moment of self-evaluation, a quiet but critical internal assessment. Psychologically, these two pieces of information can trigger a rapid, largely unconscious cognitive process. The brain may start framing the other person's outcome as an external event, while framing one's own difficulty as an internal trait. This reflects a common narrative pattern, attributing others' outcomes to luck or circumstance, while attributing our own challenges to personal character. The human mind is a meaning-making machine, often applying different interpretive frameworks to the self than it does to others. For others, the narrative often leans toward innate traits or external advantages. This attribution happens automatically. For the self, the narrative tends to default to personal effort or inherent capability, the other side of the same cognitive pattern. Research shows that we often explain others' paths using one set of factors and our own using a different set, depending on perspective. There's a simple flaw in this perspective, one that psychologists have given a name. When we look at another person, we see the person in high definition, while their surrounding world, their context, fades almost completely from view. The brain then makes an attribution, linking visible actions directly to stable personality traits. But when we look at ourselves, we are immersed in context, traffic, stress, bad luck, history, so the situation receives the credit or the blame. This is less about optimism and more about a systematic error in social perception, one that shapes how we interpret both others' achievements and our own challenges.
Success is portrayed as the result of brilliance, of winning, of soaring upward. Failure is described as a lack, a mistake, a stumble. Together, this creates a clear map. One road leads up to victory. The other leads down to defeat. When observing someone on a positive trajectory, we instinctively search for the cause within them. When experiencing a personal challenge, we may instinctively search for the cause within ourselves. This pattern leads to external attributions for others' positive outcomes and internal attributions for our own negative ones. Over time, this cognitive habit can create two distinct narrative frameworks for interpreting events. There's a basic feature of how human attention works. When we look at another person, they become the main figure in our view. But when we look at ourselves, we are not a figure, we are the viewpoint. We exist inside our own context, our environment, our history, our circumstances. When we observe someone else, we see the person sharply, while their context remains almost invisible. As a result, the mind makes a reasonable but often incomplete inference, attributing others' behavior primarily to their character. When explaining our own actions, we feel the full weight of our context. The situation gets the credit or the blame. Psychologists refer to this tendency as the fundamental attribution error. It's our instinct to overestimate the role of personality in others, and to underestimate the role of situation in ourselves. This is a perceptual bias, not a character flaw. We simply lack access to the full sequence of events and influences in another person's life, and we are drowning in the details of the movie of our own. This cognitive bias operates constantly, shaping routine social and emotional experiences. A friend's positive outcome can be perceived as a discrete event, an isolated data point attributed to them, while our own experiences unfold inside a dense context of pressures and constraints, making them feel broader and heavier. Over time, that weight can start to feel like a verdict on our own story, a personal scorecard.
Comparison becomes a strange equation, their ease versus our effort. We may attribute their visible performance to inherent ability, while narrating our own experience as a process constrained by many factors. Even small decisions can gain weight. A purchase stops being just a choice between products. It becomes entangled with self-concept, feeling like a signal about one's status or capability. Family conversations about money can intensify this divide. Their financial gains may be interpreted as personal skill, while our financial management is internally read as a personal disposition. And in the quiet moments, the accounting happens. Their external luck versus our internal lack. This perceptual split can create a sense of distance between others' outcomes and our own immediate contextual experiences. It reinforces a familiar pattern: external attribution for others and internal attribution for the self. In attribution research, the feeling we observe is often processed as information, while the explanation assigned to it represents only a partial account of the factors involved. Research in social psychology describes how other people's actions often occur within layers of conditions and constraints that are not immediately visible. Any outcome reflects a combination of individual actions and a wide range of situational factors that frequently remain unseen. In the same way, personal traits and choices can be understood as elements within a broader context, interacting with circumstances rather than existing separately from them. A single image exists within a timeline that includes unseen variables, stress, planning, constraints, and unpredictable events. This interpretation does not alter the event itself. It places the observed experience within a broader set of situational and temporal factors. A professional setback also occurs at a specific point in time, intersecting with other concurrent demands and situational influences. The outcome remains the same. What changes is the analytical emphasis placed on individual contribution versus surrounding conditions when explaining it. From this perspective, differences in attribution appear less extreme, with both others' outcomes and one's own challenges described using overlapping explanatory categories. Within attribution research, the focus is on describing causes with greater nuance rather than substituting one explanatory bias for another. Research on attribution describes a pattern in which explanations for others' outcomes emphasize situational context, while explanations for one's own outcomes more often reference personal factors. So much of the feeling of money isn't about numbers, it's about the stories we place them in. From this viewpoint, every number can be understood as reflecting both individual factors and surrounding context.